Well, hey now. It's The Rod from 106.1 Kiss FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting, the rambling, froggy Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Big froggy, not just froggy. Watch out.
Oh, yes. I seen a big froggy all on my news feed today.
I'm always... Oh, man, that dude's annoying. I only... am in this is a studio I spend every morning in, but I do the podcast from another studio, so we're not just, covering your radio station's thing with like my radio station's logo. But the dude in that room, that dude in the studio that I always use, he has the flu, and I'm not messing around, man. I'm traveling in a week, and I can't be getting sick.
Dude,
I can't be getting the flu.
I think you look good. I kind of think it looks good without the that glaring sun.
Before, I know we have a lot to get to, and we're starting a little late, but I do want to say just quickly, I've been wanting to say it the whole time, to Michael Virgin and to anyone else that agrees with him, and I'm sure there are just about everybody. Because it's on after Raw, I started watching that Crisley Knows Best.
Oh, I know. I watch that show every week.
I like it.
I used to hate it. Does Mike not like it? Is this a conversation I'm not aware of?
This was on a post show, and he was like, he just threw it into his comments. He was just like, and nobody watches that show. I hate that show. Those commercials are annoying. And I was like, oh man, I agree. Nobody should like that show, but I do.
That's the way I feel too. I feel like I shouldn't like the show. I think it makes me, I don't think it speaks highly of my taste in entertainment for liking the show, but I do.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed by it, but it's a fact.
Yeah, that's a fact for me too. I didn't know you watched it.
Yeah, it's on after Raw.
Well, and it's also being DVR'd by me.
Yeah.
So I can't just blame it on that.
Right.
Let's be honest. You're not staying up till midnight to watch the thing, waking up at whatever time you wake up.
Oh, but I do. That's my Monday nights are so messed up.
Gotcha.
I do. I get home from the gym late and I'm all jacked up, so I stay up till about midnight.
Okay. Are you napping? I'm assuming at some point.
Are they naps if I just fall asleep at the dinner table? If I just fall asleep in the couch? It's like this. Literally haven't gotten through a movie in 2 years without. Oh yeah. That.
Does your significant other get as PO'd as mine does when you nod off during the movie?
I've been with her for 13 years. She knows the deal. She gets it. I'm sure she gets frustrated. The kids get frustrated, but they just know that dad sleeps maybe 13 hours a week, and every once in a while he's going to pass out on the couch. Just deal with it.
Dude, I don't get pissed when you start Facebooking during Indiana Jones. Don't get pissed if I nod off during 50 Shades Darker.
I fall asleep during movies I like.
Yeah,
I had to go see the Lego Batman movie twice because I fell asleep during each one, but fortunately I fell asleep during different parts, so now I've seen the whole thing.
Hey, I'm getting a little bit of a feedback on me. Am I loud in there? Or...
There, you are a little bit. How about that? Is that better?
I'll let you know. It should be. That sounds like it's fine now. Thank you.
Sweet. No.
Okay, so there was a SmackDown on Tuesday, and then there was an awful lot of wrestlers who passed away over the last 2 weeks that I think we should cover on today's episode.
Where would you like to start?
I'd like to start with SmackDown, and then we'll talk about the wrestlers. I wish I had, with the four combined that I want to talk about, I don't have as many memories as I wish I would with a lot of them, but we'll do what we can.
Okay.
So, you saw SmackDown on Tuesday, I'm assuming?
I did. I watched half of it live, and then the next day I finished it.
All right, sounds good to me. I watched it. None of it. I mean, it was Tuesday night, but it wasn't live. I started late for DVR purposes. So the opening segment, while I thought it was good, the opening segment was Naomi and relinquishing the title. I thought they did a pretty good job of making that emotional and important, but when it came down to it and what they were going to do with it, it essentially became, which rematch are we going to see Alexa Bliss in? Was it going to be Naomi, which just happened on the pay-per-view, or
I'm not defending them because they are rematch crazy. And I agree with you, but they didn't really have a choice here. They needed to get the belt on somebody.
You're not wrong.
I don't think they ever should have taken it off of Alexa, and it probably sucks for the company when they're like, oh, we just gave them the belt, now they're hurt, and now we got to take, because that seems to happen more than not anymore.
Well, I'll say this though, F that, because this is the same company that hot shots the women's title on Raw every other week. So
right.
if it happens once on SmackDown, I don't feel bad for you. You're the ones watering down your title, not us.
When I watched the match between Becky Lynch and Alexa Bliss, and by the way, I think Alexa Bliss is one of the best heels on SmackDown. I don't mean women, I mean heels. I think she is one of the best heels in general. She does such a good job. She's really impressed me.
I cannot believe how good she has become since she's been on the main roster.
She's a monster. She could give the women on Raw a run for their money if they ever wanted to move her over there. I think she's so small and cute, and she's got the look, she's got the attitude, and she comes out and just gives Naomi a look like, huh, and then she cuts a great promo. And when she's fighting Becky Lynch, I was like, please let Alexa have this belt. Let her have the championship going into WrestleMania. She's a more interesting champion.
I'm not really sad about Naomi. First of all, I don't think she's going to be on the shelf for long. Second of all, I'm not in the you deserve it camp. I'm sorry if that makes me come off like a jerk. I'm not saying she's undeserving, but the praise that she got showered with following that title win at the pay-per-view kind of like put it over the edge for me, that I just I'm not a fan. I don't know. I feel like she's all sizzle and no steak, as they say.
And it seems to me like all of that adoration she got after she won the championship was more deserved by Bray Wyatt, who also won a belt that night.
Yeah, and like, okay, like Bray does deserve it, and those "you deserve it" chants need to be. He deserves the chant, but not every title change deserves the chant.
Right.
And that's what's annoying me about this, is now we're in the "you deserve it" era, where I'm totally cool with letting the fans break character and root for the heels and kind of, break kayfabe or whatever and do that kind of stuff. But let's not do it every title change, please.
Forget the era of Wyatt. It's the era of "you deserve it."
Yeah, that's the thing. This is all part of the millennium generation, the millennials, and this is all what gets lumped into it. And like I said, I'm not calling anybody, except for maybe Naomi, undeserving. But let's maybe save those "you deserve" chants for, like, when Shawn Michaels fulfills this boyhood dream, those moments, you know, those kind of things. Bray did deserve the chant, and of course was the one that didn't get it until 2 nights later.
So I don't know if you ran a stopwatch on SmackDown, but that segment got 30 minutes. From beginning to end, those women got 30 minutes. Then
that's including
you have the Falls Count Anywhere match that took another 35 minutes.
I was going to say, this show was very woman-focused.
Well, that's because they had 10 of their top guys, 6 of their top guys and some jobberoos in the Battle Royal.
And then, of course, let's talk about that other women's match, because you know what I'm going to say.
Rematch.
But from the paper, it's like all we've seen of them is them fighting each other. And given this was probably the best match that they've had, but still, how are we supposed to get excited about this? Why am I?
This was the match they needed. They've been building up this like fighting everywhere thing for a while. This is the match that they should have had at the pay-per-view. They should have had.
Yes, exactly.
They should have had the Falls Count Anywhere at a pay-per-view.
Yeah, I agree. Instead, they had a really dull match. I could barely. I was dying to do the dishes during. I was so bored out of my skull. I was like, what can I do during this match? I want to stay off Facebook because I'm so far behind on this show. Oh, you know what? I can do the dishes. That's what I can do. It's like they call like the boring matches the sandwich matches. If I wasn't diabetic, I would have made a sandwich. I was looking forward to doing the dishes. That's how bad the match was. And not only that, that was what the fourth of 5 matches from them from the past 2 months.
Right, and it's been documented that at the time of that match, I was also doing dishes. Like, that was a do the dishes match.
It was a see the missus, do the dishes match. It just makes me upset. And what else is infuriating me is, like, we're the only people talking about this. How are people not getting upset about this besides us? This is
it'll take them 6 more months than us. And then, but when it happens, there will be a backlash, and then they'll change it.
And then I'm going to be over here saying, "We told you so." I'm already numb to this by now. And this to me is the root of the problem as to why the brand extension is a problem. I'll say it once and then I'll stop because I know the listeners are probably tired of hearing it. I'm getting tired of hearing it. I watch these shows back too. If you just write stricter and better, you don't have to worry about these problems. You really don't. You could have had Becky Lynch. You could have had Becky Lynch against Sasha Banks or something.
We do this a lot, and we talk about this a lot, and you say it every time, and then I say, I kind of defend the brand extension, and I say, but they weren't writing it like that. And you say, but if they just write it better. But here's what I'm trying to convey to you. I agree with you so much. I have zero faith that they employ anyone that could actually write it better. I don't think writing it better is an option because I don't think the WWE can do it. I don't think it's possible for them.
I told you how to do it. You make the board. You write for the week. Okay.
No, I know you know how to do it, but they don't have anyone that does.
Okay. I'm going to stop because people are going to think this is a rerun. I don't want that. And I'm so thankful that people watch this and stick with it to the end that I'm just going to stop ranting. They put that match on. It was a good match. Falls Count Anywhere. It had some good spots. There were little clunky moments. It was their best match.
Yeah, it was fine. And it set up, did it set up the Maurice thing that everyone's been talking about that I didn't think was actually possible.
So yeah, what happened? I get zony when I see matches 5 times in a row. Maurice, she interfered, and help me out here? Okay,
for the second time, while these women were fighting backstage, because it happened at the pay-per-view too, Maurice got affected. She didn't interfere. She was just backstage. The first time during the pay-per-view, she was doing her makeup, and then she got powder all over her, and she couldn't go to the ring with The Miz. Then on SmackDown Live, she's backstage going over some production notes, it looks like, and then she awkwardly steps right into where she's supposed to, just in time for Natalya to throw Nikki into her. She goes through the curtain, posts and poles fall, and she's taken out, and then the fight continues, and Maurice is left to lay on the ground. She just another innocent bystander. And then she comes out at the end of the match, mad, with one of the pipes, and Nikki Bella, this is my biggest complaint of the whole night, Nikki Bella no-sells her. She no-sold Doug. She got hit in the arm with a pipe and didn't move. She got hit twice in the back with an aluminum pipe. And Al Snow sells better chair shots than she sold. She just took it, and it didn't affect her.
Who did this? I'm sorry. Who are you scolding?
Nikki Bella.
Okay.
Nikki Bella's getting hit by Maurice by pipes, and she barely sells it. And then eventually, she goes down, and then she gets pinned, and it's over. And then now Maurice and Nikki Bella hate each other. Well, and then we go to the Battle Royal, and that's the moment that I said, oh, maybe they aren't going to crowbar John Cena in.
Wait, no, it sounds like I would think that they're going to. What are you thinking? You're thinking
I thought before that happened, I thought you were going to be right, and they were going to crowbar John Cena into the main event at WrestleMania.
Now I'm with you. I thought you meant they're not going to crowbar him into that mixed tag match that everyone's talking about.
No, they're clearly going to crowbar him into the mixed tag match now, and they did. They crowbarred them both in during the Battle Royal. Although it was less of a crowbar and more of just really good storytelling. I thought the Battle Royal told really good stories.
This is a mistake for a few reasons then, if this is what they do. I don't think people really care about that match, and Cena should probably be in a position where people do care about him at WrestleMania. And secondly, it shows that they made a really bad decision at the Rumble. I mean, I'm assuming they probably changed their mind at some point, or I don't know, maybe they wanted to get Cena to 16, set the next title win is the big one. But I figured that it was all to get him to win 17 at Mania, which still could happen. I'm not totally removing all doubt from that, but it does appear to be that stupid mixed tag match that I don't think anyone cares about.
But it is weird that this monumental Ric Flair record tying championship run lasted days.
Yeah, that's just and not only that, it affects your title value. I really feel like that not only that we split over the past year, we've split the number of titles, which makes it to me half as important as it used to be. Now you're especially with your women's title, man, both of them, you're just hot potatoing them, and people really realize that a title win becomes less important when they're only for 2 weeks at a time. You know?
Yeah, it's but it is what it is. What did you think of the Battle Royal?
I thought it was a little long. I was a little surprised at the ending. I just kind of thought that AJ would win once Cena got eliminated. I knew it would be AJ or Cena. Turns out it's going to, at least I'm cool with, so I
disagree. It's not going to be either one of them.
Really? What are you thinking?
And I'm okay with it. I think we're going to have a Wyatt main event.
Oh, I thought. See, again, I misunderstood what you're saying. You're saying I thought you meant it's not going to be either AJ or Luke. You're saying it's not going to be AJ or Cena.
It's not going to be AJ or Cena. It's going to be Luke Harper for sure.
I don't think for sure.
Maybe not for sure, but it's definitely going to happen.
Well, then I guess maybe SmackDown's show is coming together because it looks like you got Cena in that mixed tag with Miz, Maurice, and Nikki. Maybe you do have an all Wyatt title match for SmackDown's title, and then I guess that leaves AJ and Shane, which is the thing that people have been, talking about online.
And clearly Corbin and Dean Ambrose, which I'm excited for.
Yeah, I got to tell you, though, while I love AJ and I appreciate Shane as a wrestler, I really I'm just pissed about this if that's where they go. First of all, you're going to crowbar a feud for them, as in there's not something there already. And it's not organic. It's not going to feel crowbarred to me. And second of all, so Shane is not in that Undertaker Triple H league. And keep in mind, I resent those guys for only appearing at WrestleMania. The Shane thing is ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't like it. I hope that that's wrong. But at this point, where else are they going to put AJ? If he doesn't win next week, and he might, and if he does, then it is what it is. But I do think that, the fans even want Luke Harper.
I would care about that. That's a good spot for him, but I just worry about AJ. He deserves to be pretty heavily featured on this show.
I think that if anybody in the entire company deserves to be in the main event of WrestleMania after the year he's had, it's AJ Styles.
Yeah, no one's had a better life post WrestleMania 32 than AJ Styles. It was the year of AJ, and he should be very heavily featured on this show. So there's that. I also want to say a few more things about the show before we start talking about the guys who passed. There was a moment I just wanted to mention as being kind of cool. I liked how they gave all the guys a minute to talk about why they're going to win the Battle Royal, especially Dolph Ziggler when he super kicked the green screen.
Yeah.
Which I was in front of last week on Thursday, and Jerry's in front of this week.
I'm going to super kick it.
Put Hopper's face on there first, at least.
I
Is there a picture
that.
of him handy? Are there any pictures of him in that studio? He's in every one of those photos, as is a somewhat country celebrity. It is the saddest thing I've ever seen. And
and I'm not allowed to take the wall down, although I've threatened it a million times.
Yeah, get Trump in there. He'll take the wall down.
I loved those promos. It reminded me of the wrestling that I grew up with.
Like if you watch the beginning of Royal Rumble 95, which was the first Royal Rumble I ever watched live, the first Royal Rumble I was ever really excited to watch because I became a fan at SummerSlam 94. They all kind of start with a reasoning as to why they're going to win. The most memorable, which of course is the British Bulldog, who's a meme for this, because I'm going to win the Rumble because I'm bizarre. As a anecdote among wrestling fans. You seem like you don't know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh, do you? Okay. All right. I'm just making sure. We're both, I think, dazed from that Hopper appearance.
The Hopper thing. I'm also, because I'm in my studio, whenever something weird happens on the computer, I'm noticing it. I'm more distracted in here because I'm in an on-air studio that things are happening, and
Gotcha.
there was an EAS test that just went off, and I'm just.
Hey, one more thing I wanted to mention. Even though it wasn't anything great, I do think, and I mean this sincerely, I don't mean this backhanded, that was maybe the best mic work out of the Usos I've ever seen.
Okay, yeah, I liked it. I like that they're finally giving American Alpha like one tag team instead of all of them.
And they're committed to this heel thing. And I don't know, the Usos used to really bore me when they were just the generic baby faces who were Samoan. And now that they've actually got a heel personality, I'm digging them.
And I like that they changed everything. They gave them new music.
Yeah, they've really improved them. Unfortunately, they improve them the same week they decide that the tag division means nothing. The tag division came on so strong when you had like Heath and Rhino and the tag team title tournament. And man, people really cared about SmackDown's tag division for a minute there.
And then they let go of it.
Yeah. So
I don't know why. It's like, will they do that with the women at some point too? Because now they're pushing that one big.
I don't know. We'll have to find out. Do you have anything more from SmackDown you want to mention? We got a few minutes where we can talk about some of these legends who have passed.
No, I liked it. I thought the storytelling in the Battle Royal was great, and it was a solid show, albeit a very heavy, 2 women segments in a Battle Royal, pretty much.
I think I liked Raw better this week, personally.
I did too.
Okay. All right, then. We can go in, I guess, in chronological order. Let's start with Chavo Guerrero Sr., also known as Chavo Classic. Didn't have a whole lot of time in WWE. Not that that matters. He's one of the key fixtures of the Guerrero family, who are certainly a legendary wrestling family. Although I think that a lot of people watching this show, myself included, our memories of the Guerreros largely consist of Eddie and Chavo Jr.
Yeah, Chavo Jr. is the Chavo that I know. When someone first said Chavo Guerrero died, that's who I thought they were talking about, and then I realized it was his father. I don't have any memories of Chavo Sr., but he, he, like so many of the wrestlers of his generation, really paved the way.
He became very visible at a time when you weren't watching. In the summer of 2004, that was like right after you got engaged, and I was in New York, and I could only watch SmackDown. I was in a weird situation where, in my living situation, I had access to SmackDown and cable, but didn't have access to Raw. So I watched SmackDown very heavily, and he was a light heavyweight champion. He would, every time you saw Chavo and even Eddie, a lot of times you'd see Chavo Classic. So he was very visible at that time. To keep this brief, because I have to get out of here in 7 minutes. Let's move on to George the Animal Steele. George, I think, of the 4 people we lost last week, even though we did lose a former world champion, especially at a time when the title meant a whole lot, I think George was the most impactful death we had last week.
It definitely became the biggest story nationally, and everybody loved George the Animal Steele. Like, I always use as a litmus, does my mom know who they are? Because if they do, then they're famous. And my mom knows George the Animal Steele.
I don't think my mom would, but that's not a good litmus test either. George, I was researching him a little bit, and he never held a title in the WWE, and I respect that about him because he still found a way to be very relevant. He was in some great story-driven angles, and he was a unique character and one of the all-time great characters in the business. Like, I talk about people like Undertaker and Goldust who've really committed to their gimmick, and their gimmick is completely outrageous. George Steele's a great example of this.
Right, and he was the opposite of that character because he was incredibly intelligent. He was a teacher.
Yeah, he was a teacher, and always, my understanding, a beloved teacher who was loved by his students, a very smart guy who played a ridiculous character, just like any actor does. Just like Al Pacino wasn't a cocaine dealer in real life. Right. George Steele wasn't that maniac and he had the mind, and he had a great feud with Randy Savage. That was my particular favorite feud of his, with Randy and Elizabeth and his love for her. And, I thought George was great. And I haven't seen all that many matches of George's because of my age and, how spotty it can be to find stuff from that era. But he was fantastic. And he was a true Hall of Fame legend character.
Absolutely. And you know what? Nobody eats turnbuckles anymore.
No, that's true. That's very true, except for Nia Jax. The most, if you measure a wrestler's importance by character and by legacy, I feel like George Steele is the most impactful death we lost. If you do measure a wrestler's success by the gold that they wear and the titles that they win, the biggest loss last week was that of Nikita Koloff. Nikita Koloff defeated Bruno Sammartino to win the WWF title at a time when that belt was so much more than a prop, and it really meant something. And Bruno Sammartino, one of the all-time great champions in the history of wrestling in any corner of the globe, and to be able to end that title run it really lends to how much credibility you had as a heel.
That's back when newspapers were reporting that Nikita Koloff won the championship.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
It was treated like a legitimate sport.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I mean, I've seen Nikita Koloff matches, and I know that he was a talented wrestler and a very, that was back at a time when your gimmick was your nationality, and he was Russian, so he was a heel, and that's just the way it worked back then. Like it or not, that's just the way it worked. Anyone from that time will tell you that. And he was, his character was simple but effective. That's just what he was, And then,
but I would still say if the year ended today, the Rest in Peace award goes to George the Animal Steele.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with that too. And then there's a little bit of a timeline disagreement as to when this happened. I was reported during Thursday night that this person had died, and then I heard that this person was not dead until actually this weekend. But I'm talking about Nicole Bass. And Nicole Bass is actually the one that hits me the hardest. Not as much as the wrestler, because her wrestling days were long gone and her impact on the business was kind of minimal, to say the least. But as someone who used to intern for the Howard Stern Show and grew up listening to the Stern Show and still listens to every moment of that show, this is a big deal in my world.
Nicole Bass was outshadowed by China in the wrestling business.
Yeah, and she did herself no favors because she was a real loon in real life anyway, and left on. Why would you? I don't know what all happened with WWE and her exit, and I believe it was sexual harassment allegations. I want to say involving Bruce Pritchard, but I might be wrong about that. Don't quote me. But something happened that she sued WWE upon her exit, and I don't think it ever. Again, I didn't research this. I don't think it ever materialized too much, except for a whole lot of resentment on both sides.
Right.
And
she was on Stern Show. Didn't he give her blood tests and DNA tests and stuff?
Yeah, and Robin had to check her private parts to make sure she was a woman, and she's not sure what she saw, but she's she's had a very I don't know if decline is the right word, but it probably is. She kind of had a low level of fame as a female bodybuilder in the 80s. And then when she became a character on the Howard Stern Show, she grew in popularity, but not necessarily, I would say infamy, maybe more so than fame. And
she did a thing. She did one of those washed up interview autograph session things at the Altoona Jaffa Mosque once.
Was it with wrestling or with like a Comic Con, or what was it for?
It was with wrestling. It wasn't good, and I remember it vaguely. And I met her for a second, and she's a dude.
That will always be up for debate. If I had to make a guess, I'm going to go team female, but I feel about confident as that as I do with a lot of my main event picks when we do the predictions episodes.
Total dude.
All right. And that's how we eulogize Nicole Bass. All right, then. I don't know which bathroom she would use in North Carolina, but I can tell you that she will be the one, ironically, that I miss the most.
She only goes to the bathroom at Target because it's the only way.
We got to go before I have to start editing this episode like last week's.
Are there transgender bathrooms in heaven? I don't know.
For myself, the Rob, and my tag team partner, questionable Jerry Valeri. Good luck dealing with that wall of Hopper selfies.
Right. It's right over here. It's so close.
I believe you. Oh, soak it in. Oh, that is the second questionable gender we've seen this episode. Good night, everybody. I'm going to vomit.